Hey, welcome back to Pigton's Northern Star, the floaty boaty fiasco thing. Hey, as promised, we did actually get off the berth this episode. We did take the boat for a run. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out as planned. There are an issue or two, which is quite frustrating. So hang around to the end of the episode. We'll see where we go from here and see what happens. Oh, I've been running it in gear for a bit. Certainly once it warms up, the amount of exhaust coming out certainly decreases. So a bit when it's cold, and this to be expected. When it is warm, dissipates literally to nothing. So it just goes to show these old engines need to be warmed up before they're actually used. So we've run it in gear for a while. Pretty much what I want to just put a little bit of load on the engine and flick any crap off the prop. I would probably think that when we go out on the weekend I may take a snorkel mask and I might go for a dip over the side of the boat and scrape the prop. Yeah, I'm sort of pretty much thinking there might be a bit of crap on the prop that needs to be scraped again. Might be a beautiful day to go out. Unfortunately, I'm by myself again. The boat going out there. I could probably flick off and go for a bit of a run, but I'm just mindful of the fact that if the wind picks up, it could be a bit tricky getting back in, particularly with the wee boat in front of us there. Without saying that, I suppose this is why we pay insurance. It all goes horribly wrong. Yeah, we've just been trying to get hold of my son. Unfortunately, my phone's dumped a lot of my contacts recently. Get a hold of one of his mates' dads. He wanted to come out and jump on the boat for a bit and go for a bit of a spin, give her a bit of a run. Fortunately, he stayed with a mate last night and not answering his phone. So, yeah, I had much joy there. So I'm going to take the bell off anyway. I'm going to take this home and give this a good clean up with some Brasso. It's sort of deteriorating quite significantly with the salt here, so I'm going to take that home and had to bring a screwdriver down to take those off. They're a bit tricky to move. So anyway, that's where we're at. So hopefully, who knows, I'm sort of tempted to flick off the lines and just go for a run and just to say hell with it. Watched one of the neighbours reversing his yacht in. He reversed it all the way around and reversed it into his berth. Yeah, quite impressive. I'm quite envious. Bloody good work there. Have a wee look at this doofer. I think it might be a pollution monitoring device. It's certainly sitting at the top of the surface. So it always seems to be a bit of oil and muck floating around in the Marina. I'm sure it's probably coming from oily bilges and automatic bilge pumps. Yep, anyone got any ideas? Yeah, certainly looks as though it might be for something like that. And it's now gone. It was only in there for about a week. As you can see, the ship's bow is in desperate need of a bit of TLC and a good clean. While I was doing that, I was interrupted by this wee bird, this wee fantail. I love these wee birds. They remind me of my wife. As I previously mentioned on a prior episode, following my wife down the road, or her following me, I turned, she'd be gone. She'd be flicking from shop to shop, clothing rack to clothing rack, crafts, arts, projects. Keeping up with her during conversation was an exercise in mental agility for me. Would be jumping from topic to topic. Now, funnily enough, I always turn up when I'm feeling a bit down, and strangely enough, a short time later, at least 16 or 17 of them turned up in the backyard, and this one's hung around for several nights, has come inside and flicked around the house. So I love them to bits. Hey, little guy, what you doing? You're doing? Not supposed to be in here. The bloody dog will eat you. Yeah, dog will eat you. Well, not really a great place to be. I'm sure there's probably better to eat outside than flies in here. It's about 3 days in a row you've been in here. Now you're coming to visit. Sorry, I digress here, a little bit distracted, but I love these wee birds. They're great fun to watch and great fun to have around the place. Back down to the boat to sort a few things out before it's used. We take it out to give these folks a fishing trip the following day, including trying to sort the macerator out on the toilet. Don't know what the problem is. Works, doesn't work, works, doesn't work, and then yeah, like everything, it's a bloody great mystery. The other thing I need to do as well, I've just purchased some more biocide, $45 for that. Treats 1,500 litres. I've got about 6.5, maybe 700 litres in the tanks at the moment. I like to treat the fuel regularly just as a prevention measure, and that'll be to get that in today as well, along with 20 litres worth of fuel, which should be more than ample tomorrow where we take these folks out fishing. And I just like to bring a bit down, and all my filling station is all inside, so it's not a major issue. It's not as though there's going to be any spillage onto the decks and into the marina. Alright, red at the top, orange at the bottom, and that's the earth. That earth may well be the problem. I may have to disconnect that yet. Let's have a look here. Got that hooked up to the earth. Right, so that's what the problem is. It's a bad earth. So I need to work out where the hell that's earthing from. I actually need that up and running. So I'll turn that off. Let's reconnect that to there. Reconnect that up to an earth. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so just reconnected that with those U-Beauty inline soldering systems. I'll cover that one before I shrink that down. I'll go and check it. I've just wired those up. Now if it doesn't work, then that would mean the poor earth's round here. So what I might be encouraged to do is I think I may end up just taking it off and trying to find a better earth. Right, we still have nothing. So that tells me that there's a poor earth down here somewhere. That one's hot. Even that poor connection there is measuring 12.45 volts. I hook the battery charger, portable battery charger, up to that one. It works. Yeah, the macerator works. I hook that up, join that up to that, and all I'm getting is clicking. So there's something wrong with this wire here. I don't know what. It's a bit of an mission around the other side because it's something that has been done properly. The wiring runs down inside some pipe, sealed up in some pipe, and down to the motor. So it's going to be a matter of, I think that wire needs to be replaced, or at least inspected on the other side to see if there's a cruddy joint in there, or whether or not there's a break, because it's certainly not allowing full power to run when you turn the switch on from there into there to turn the macerator. So yeah, it's not going to be a job for today. But at least I've sort of worked out what the hell's going on with the why it's not working. It's not burnt out. It's simply a matter of just not not working. And I don't even think it was working. I was jumping into light on 24 volts, which was far too much for the motor, and then it stopped working on that as well. So there's definitely an issue with that wire. Sorry, didn't get much in the way of footage. By the time I got out of the Marina, off the berth, got it into gear properly, got out here, and I also had a young family with young children on board, so out of respect I didn't want to be splashing them all over Facebook. Anyhow, the dramas start. It was a beautiful day out here though, no fish caught, and before we could go and find some, we needed to head back in because of the issues involving the gearbox.
Where's that up from?
Oh, hiding in the bottom of the bag.
Oh, it's oversized.
Oh, oversized. Well, we've got room to spare then.
Is that going in real easy?
This will be a neutral. Do you want me to put it forward?
No. Is that twisting in real easy?
Yeah, it seems to be, yeah.
I'm only doing it with my hand.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's enough?
Yeah, this should be getting close, surely. It's
We'll try that, shall we?
yeah. Normally when you engage the gear lever, it would be just in gear at the first stage to give you 1 to 1.5 knots, and then you would push it fully forward and you'd feel it clunk as it engaged fully in forward gear. For some reason it wasn't doing that, it was jumping out. Tried disconnecting the linkage arm and pushing it forward by hand so it fully engaged into forward, but then it jumped out again. So we were just trying to adjust it to keep it in gear.
I haven't done up the lock nuts on the...
Oh yeah. It's probably not much point until we know whether it's going to work or not. After adjusting it, it still wouldn't stay in gear, kept jumping out, so we assisted it forward by hand and then used a piece of rope to hold the gear lever forward enough to keep it in gear fully so we could return back to the Marina. I also didn't want it jumping out of gear while doing 1000 to 1200 RPM. That would not be good for the engine, engaging and disengaging at that speed. And I also didn't want it just engaged and have it revving because I'm sure it would probably burn something out. So I was just trying to look after the gearbox until we get back. Well, as promised, we did get off the berth and out. Took these people out. Unfortunately, didn't go that well. Didn't go according to plan. For some reason, I noticed that the getting off the berth here didn't seem to be going into forward very well. We managed to get it into forward as we got outside of the Marina, and we did about a 6.5 knots across to where we were going to go fishing, in the area that they'd identified I'd like to have a go at. And got over there, had a drift, they had a bit of a fish, had a coffee, and not a lot happening, so decided to shift somewhere else, and that was when the fun started. Basically, would go into reverse all right, wouldn't go into forward properly. Fiddling around, I could push it into forward by hand, moving the lever forward. I get down, I would push the gear shift lever by hand. I could feel that there was resistance from the shaft, the linkage shaft. We fiddled around, found a appropriately sized crescent that would do the job, unfastened things, adjusted it to try to get it into gear to no avail. We then tried to push it, leaving it off, push it into gear to see if it would go into gear and stay into gear, but it just kept flicking out of gear. you'd put it in, would jump out, put it in, jump out, that sort of thing. So something's not quite right there. So anyway, we managed to adjust a bit further, get it fully into gear, but had to hold the gear lever forward, which was what you'll see tied up there with a Heath Robinson affair with a piece of rope. It was just too far to be coming back with it, having to hold it down. And to be honest, I don't want to be doing sort of 1200 revs or 1100 revs or 1000 revs and having it jump out of gear like that and pushing it in and out of gear at those revs wouldn't be good for anything at all. So I didn't want it jumping out. So we tied up the gear shift lever and decided to call it a day and get back in. So we got back in all right. There's a funny noise coming. It started just out of the area there. I noticed all the silver tar paper stuff on the top of the dry stack that I put up there probably 2 years ago to get the water out. The tar had all melted off the top, which indicated that things at the top of the dry stack was getting a bit hot, which was unusual. A funny noise started just out of the Waikawa Marina here, and I could hear it outside, and like a boat, when an engine's going, you can hear a noise somewhere. I got underneath, had a look on the aft end entry. I thought that maybe that was coming from the gearbox, but I don't think it was. I'm pretty sure it was actually in the dry stack. I've just had the top of the dry stack off, had my arm in there, and the pipe and everything inside there feels absolutely rotten and feels like it is absolutely fallen to bits. And is potentially, there's another muffler inside there and it's rattling against the shield or the dry stack itself, and I think it's just rattling backwards and forwards there, and that was a sound that could be heard. Anyhow, I'm noticed when we got back into the marina, we undid the rope, it stayed in gear, which was I just can't quite fathom. Stayed in gear. We got it hooked back up to the berth again without an issue, and yeah, and here we are. So home now for a couple of beers and to stew on things a bit. Send an email to Seafarer. They need to come down and sort out what the issue is. Clearly I'm not going to be too happy if this is going to cost me more money, because in my view it hasn't been fixed. If it's done this, you know, first time out, regardless of how long it was run on the berth here, it's done this first time out. It's there's clearly something not right there. So anyway, I'm a bit disheartened, a bit grumpy. Let's put it this way: if Seafarers come down and there's some other huge issue there, unless they're going to cover the costs, I'm not spending any more money on the boat. I've decided I'm going to divest myself of it. At this stage, it's how I feel. You know, $30,000 down the Googler so far to get the gearbox and reduction box sorted, and I can't afford to spend another 30 having it redone again, potentially have the same issue happen. And so we'll just sort of see what the problem is firstly, how much is going to cost me, if anything, to fix. I don't think it should cost me anything, to be honest, because it's part of the main job that was done. And we'll just see where we go from here. So watch the space. Hopefully I'll have some answers for you the next episode. And the other job that I'm going to need to do as well is sort out the dry stack and the exhaust in there. Clearly it's got to come off, and I'm going to have to get a new piece of exhaust and muffler in there as well, because it's not doing the job and it needs replacing urgently. Okay. Thanks for watching till the end. As always, please share, like, subscribe. Doesn't do much for me, if anything. Well, in fact, doesn't do anything at all, but it just means that the algorithms and all that magic stuff that happens in the YouTube, the digital world, might recommend my content for someone else to watch. Okay, and we'll see you next week.